All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Spiritual Sunday to you. And to you. And to you. And we'll keep going in circles. To you, to me. Okay. How many of you are brand new to Spiritual Sunday? Please raise your hands. Woo, yes. Great. Thank you for joining us. All right. Okay. So then just to introduce myself, my name is Chaim Solomon. I'm one of the teachers here in the Boca Kabbalah Center. And I just want to welcome you to what we do here. Which is the point being one simple thing. We want to make true what most people don't think is true. Right? You ever heard the phrase, it's too good to be true? Right? Why do we believe that? We all want things to be greater and gooder than they are. Right? But then when somebody comes along and says, yes, this will help you have a better life or more good in your life, etc., and it sounds too simple, what do we then say? Too good to be true. Well, at some point, doesn't something have to be that good? I hope so. Great. Doesn't it? Yes. Why? Why? Great. All the new people going, what is this? Questions and answers? Because in our heart and soul, we've already experienced it. We'll talk a little about it this morning. But because we already feel that the Creator gave us everything and that we want everything, then we're supposed to have everything. So there has to be a ways and means. But if we think logically, if there is a ways and means for everybody to have everything, how complicated could it be? Can't be very complicated, because if you complicate it too much, you leave out a lot of people. Some of us may not be so good in math or science or whatever it might be, and so we could leave ourselves out. But if we come to understand that the Creator's light, which is the source of total and absolute fulfillment, the Kabbalists describe it as infinite, simple light. And yet that simple light created all of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, all the stars and planets in the universe, all the life forms that exist, everything is created from that simple light. So what we're learning here is how to go back to that simple light, because that's what our soul is made up of. And if we think about it, didn't they used to say, if you peel the skin off people, right, when they used to talk about color, peel the skin off and what do we see underneath? The same color. So if we take that spiritually, if we take away the layer of whether you're, whatever religion you are, whatever culture, language, etc., then we boil down to our soul. How different can our soul be? If it comes from one source, it's got to be also made of the same material. And that's what Kabbalah is about. So what we're really doing here is we're taking away all the beliefs, like those layers of falsehood. We're getting rid of them so that we can go back to the original truth that we are already unified. We are all one. We already have heaven on earth as an existent thing, but it's hidden from our eyes. So what we're learning here in the center is how to take away the blockages, how to take away the veils and curtains that don't let us see that truth, that don't let us see how good we are and how great the world is around us. Okay? So would you like to have a better life today? Yes. Yes, okay, let's say it. Come on, you're going to see today, we got to go for it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start injecting a new level of consciousness. And even though you've been with us and we say this affirmation every week the idea is to get better and better. It's to grow in that understanding that consciousness is everything and just being aware. Because the more we'll come to the true consciousness, that consciousness, our thinking is everything, then more we'll make an effort to be aware of what we're thinking and therefore how we're behaving. So let's say it together so we can raise ourselves to a new level. So we're now, whatever our name is, but we already did 2, right? We started at 1.0, now we're 2.0. So what do we want to go up to now? 3.0? 7.0. Okay, let's say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. And I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And to infuse that and inject it in us and let it stick with us, we're going to stand up and we're going to welcome each other with warmth and love. We'll greet all our friends on Facebook who are following us from around the world now. Just a few more. I mean, I could spend the whole hour just giving you a list, but we'll just shout out to a few people and then we'll see if I can get the technology to see them as they're watching us. But a few people who've messaged me. We have Hannah from Vancouver, Canada, Jamie from Brazil, Jonathan from Rio, Fortune and Victor from Atlanta, Erica from Panama, Judith from Mexico City, Marguerite and Mari from Las Vegas, Natalia from Hong Kong. You know what time it is in Hong Kong? Yeah, it's like 11:15 in Hong Kong, p.m. So they're watching us. They stay up to watch this. There's a few of them. Paulina from Denver, Virgil from Kentucky. And listen to this. We have Tony from Prague, Czechoslovakia. So it's great. It's great. So just keep getting the word out. That's only, it's funny. I keep saying that every week. And I think, well, why aren't people doing it? Then I talk to a few of you and you're too shy to tell me. I don't know how. So I've shown a few people. It's very simple. You just go on your Facebook page or my Facebook page where the video is. Push share. If I can do it, you can do it. It comes up, a little thing says post on your timeline and you push yes. And that's it. It's very simple. It's very simple. So imagine if all of us put it out there, how many more hundreds or thousands of people could be taking advantage of what we're learning here. So I appreciate that effort for you to do that. And if you have any questions, you can ask Mordecai. Even I could do that part. Or anybody who's in the bookstore, somebody else. Anyone knows technology here? Raise your hand. Yes. So those are the people you can talk to also, right? Let them help you. Okay, here we go. So there's an interesting saying because the Kabbalists often talk in metaphors. Why? And I'll tell you what it's called in English, language of the branches. So what it means is the Kabbalists gave us physical analogies to try and understand what was going on in the metaphysical world. Because not many of us can truly see what's going on around us beyond our five senses. Sometimes we have a difficult enough time just to listen to that intuition that comes to us, and then we fight it with our logic, right? Our intuition says, go this way, do this thing, and our logic says, no, this way. And that's enough already for us, that battle. How many people really can see all the spirits and the entities and things that are all around us all the time? Okay. I just want to see who's scared or not. Okay. Someone put on Facebook, I don't know if I should say it now. The ghosts are around you when you're in the restroom. Let's put it that way. Right? Okay. Anyway, so what the Kabbalists say, they say the calf wants to feed, or more than, start over. More than the calf wants to feed, the cow wants to give. Meaning the mother wants to give more than the child wants to receive. So what does it mean for us? That the Creator, the light force, is giving us more and more every day than we know how to receive, or even than we want to receive. Because the thing is, and what I wanted to get across today is we limit our receiving. We limit how much blessing we get. We do. And how do we do it? And this may sound a little bit confusing, and some people already wrote on the post that I put during the week, right? The Rolling Stones said, I can't get no satisfaction. So we think if I'm satisfied, then everything will be hunky-dory. But no, we're going to see today it's satisfaction and settling that actually limit how much good we can get. It limits how much good we get. Give you a quick example. How many of you ever heard yourself or somebody say, if I had or if I did X, Y, Z, I would be happy? Has ever said that? So let's ask ourselves, when do we say something like that? If I just had this or if I just did this, I would be happy. When I'm feeling a lack, when I'm not happy, when things aren't going well, and I think to myself, oh, if I could just have this little bit more, I would be happy. And sometimes we get that little bit more, and then what happens? We're happy for about 5 minutes. And then what? Then we want more. Then we're looking back, right? Because why? We are settling for less. We're settling. I don't feel that I'm capable to have too much more, so I'll be happy with just a little bit more. I'm not sure right now. I'm not feeling so good, so comfortable, so happy, so whatever. So just give me something now to make me feel happy, comfortable, and settle right now. So we settle. But I guarantee you, when you can see yourself, settling will only bring regret. And regret is not very good, is it? No, I want to see all the heads go like this. Okay, because they're watching on Facebook. See? Yes, they're all going like this. Okay? No, that brings regret. Why? Because after the fact, what do we say to ourselves? We look back and then we say, why didn't I ask for that? Why did I do that thing? Why did I say that? Why did I let him get away with that? Why did I accept that? And we beat ourselves up. Why? Because we've settled for whatever in the moment would make us happy. Whatever in the moment would make us feel comfortable. What about long term? Does God exist forever or only part of the time? Forever. In fact, one of the things that puzzles science is, how can something exist with no beginning? Because according to science, there had to be a beginning to everything. Well, that's why we have language of the branches. Because there's no way with our finite mind we can grasp even the concept of infinite. No less, how could the Creator exist with no beginning, no middle, and no end? It's just infinite. It's infinite. So then if the Creator is infinite and we're pieces of the Creator, the Kabbalists teach us, how much did the Creator give us? 100%. We've been given 100%. Like it says, more than we want to receive, the Creator has already given us. It's already been set out for us. But we tend to settle for less. Give me what I need now, and we forget the big picture. But today we're awakening ourselves again to remind ourselves. And we have to keep telling ourselves again and again and again and again. Because we have that opponent in our head, right? For those of you who are new, let's call it the voice of the ego or the bad habit. That voice that's telling us to do all the negative things, or like this, settle. Settle for less. You're not feeling good now, just settle. Because everything of our 100% that we don't get, who gets it? Our 100% exists, so that opponent feeds off of what we don't reveal. That opponent in our head, that ego, that selfishness, self-centeredness, all the negativity, it will feed off the part of our soul, part of our blessings that we're not revealing yet. So we can no longer afford just to settle for now. We've got to keep seeing the big picture. How long do you want your good to last? Forever. Come on, I know you're not all Libras. You've got to be able to make a decision. How long do you want your good to last? Look, they're louder than you from Facebook, and they're on the camera. Exactly. We want it to last forever. So then don't allow yourself to settle, because settle will bring that regret. The other part, what's inside of us? The light of the Creator, a divine spirit. So even if the opponent is telling us, settle now, take what you can get now and settle for it, that divine spirit within us will never settle. It'll be like our best friend. And if you really, really, really have truly a best friend and you're doing something that's not good for you, what would your best friend tell you? Don't do it. They'll be right there. They'll nag you, they'll talk to you, they'll be after you, they'll follow you, they'll call you incessantly and tell you, don't do that, it's not going to be good for you. So if that's our best friend as a human being, how much more so the light of the Creator that we call our soul? That divinity that already knows 100%, that already has given us, sees the 100% and knows that's where we're heading. So it's not going to give up. And that's why we have regret. Did you ever ask yourself? Is regret because God is punishing us? Oh, you didn't accept what I want you to do. You didn't accept what I want to give you. Therefore, I give you regret. No, regret is our way of pushing ourselves towards 100%. It's the way we set up for ourselves that feeling of discomfort called regret, so we won't settle anymore. The issue is for us, like our bad habits. How many of you have a bad habit? Even just a little one. Bite your fingernails, I don't know, whatever, eat that chocolate chip cookie when you shouldn't, things like that, right? It doesn't have to be major addiction, but we have that bad habit. How many times in the last year have you promised yourself to give up that bad habit? A lot, no? And every time you do it, you promise yourself again, I'm not going to do that again. And then a week later, we're doing it again and again and again. That's why every week we're reminding ourselves, consciousness is everything. We keep reinfusing and reawakening that divine spirit, the divinity within us, because it will not let us go. So it's going to keep making us feel that regret, that angst. Why? Because we're settling for less than 100%, and the Creator already giving us 100%, and our soul is going to push us until we manifest that 100%. So it's not going to stop. And just as a quick note for anyone who may be out there, because it doesn't look like any of you, but suicide doesn't stop it. A lot of people think suicide means the end of all their problems. Nope. And you don't have to believe it, and I'm not asking you to believe it. But Kabbalistically, it just adds to the problems. Just adds to the problems. All right? So there's no escape. Well, go back to, how big is God? How big is the Creator? Infinite. So where can we hide from the Creator? Nowhere. So this side of life, that side of life, you can't hide from the Creator. So we're no different on that side than this side. So don't let any of you get those ideas. And if you have people that you know, find a way to awaken in them. What we're saying today, you already have the 100%. All you have to do is work a little bit for it. But that's our issue, because we've given so much power to that voice in our head, called the voice of the bad habit, the opponent, that we're often discouraged enough to give up. And I don't want anybody to give up, because the light is infinite, and the light is in each and every one of us. The other aspect is, and this may sound, especially for those who've taken classes, what about satisfaction? Shouldn't we be satisfied? Yeah, see? Now it's a big quandary. Well, we want to be satisfied, don't we? That's why you said, if I got that thing, I would be happy, because then I'd be satisfied. But satisfied for now. How many of you ever heard of that half glass example? Right? Is the glass half full or half empty? Yeah, see? All right. For those of you watching on Facebook, we have a lot of Kabbalah students here. It's both. But when people say, oh, no, I'm the optimist. So I always see the glass half full. Right? So now they're satisfied, correct? I'm satisfied. I see good in life. I see the good in life. I see this is good and that is good. But let's think about it. If you're only satisfied with half the glass, how fulfilled, to use our term, can you be? Half. So half will never be truly satisfying, but it can satisfy me in the moment. That's why it's not about satisfaction. Now, am I telling you always to be dissatisfied? I want to make sure that doesn't get out there either. Oh, look what Chaim's teaching. Always be dissatisfied. No. Be happy, satisfied with your spiritual growth. You took another step. Great. But don't stop. Don't stop. How many of you ever walked a mile? For how many of you was that a big thing to walk a mile or two, or to do a, what do they call a 5K run, anything like that? Ever did anything like that? Yes. So how do you do it? How come if you're, let's just make it a mile because it's easier, right? So you're walking or you're jogging that mile. You're halfway through, right? Do you say, oh, that's it. I'm halfway through. I'm satisfied. No, your goal is to get to the mile. So you could tell yourself, yes, I'm happy that I've gone halfway. I'm satisfied that I've run halfway, but I'm not going to be completely satisfied till I get to the end of the mile, or whatever the finish line is. So it's okay and it's good to say, yes, I'm happy with my progress and I want more. I'm satisfied with what I did today and I want more now. That's the idea. So we're never satisfied until when? 100%. 100%. Because that's how you're going to motivate yourself. If you look at the half full part of the glass and you say, wait, I also see the half empty. But I know the Creator set out for me already 100%. So I'm going to use the half full to keep going and adding to it till I get completely full. Because when a person decides they're satisfied in life, you know what becomes? Complacent. Complacent. Person becomes complacent. Right? So life is just like this. Life is okay, 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 okay. So now for some of you, it's already sounding pretty good. Right? I wish everything could just be okay, 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 okay. But, any medical people here? Yes. You know this. If you look at an EKG, right? The heart, and you see this. Is that good? No, you want it going like this, right? You want your EKG up and down because that means you're alive. So complacency is also a form of slow death. Because remember, even if a person is complacent, Oh, it's okay. They're 80% of their potential. Probably for us, that would be a huge jump already. 80%. But if they stay 80%, when the Creator gave them 100, it's slow death. Somehow that negativity will come in, the discomfort, the chaos, the challenges, etc. Because the universe, like we said, our divine soul is pushing us all forward, pushing us to achieve our 100%. So you and I are learning here, let's just go for the 100%. Why settle for anything less? Why be satisfied with anything less? Right? So what is the voice telling you? Oh, so now we're just going to be greedy, egotistical, self-centered people. I want my 100% and that's that. Yeah, okay. Just if you can't see them, a lot of them are being very polite and they're not saying anything, but they're thinking it. Yes, it's true. It's true. We are greedy people. The Kabbalists are extremely greedy people. Just waiting for it to sink in. What we say is limiting us. If the light the Creator gave us is infinite, is our 100%, what's holding us back from having our 100%? Because remember, we are only what we call Kabbalistically vessels or conduits, containers of the light of the Creator. We are not the source of the light of the Creator. So if you go out to the lake over here in the community next door, right? They got a nice big lake. You go out to that lake with an 8-ounce cup, how much water are you going to get out of the lake? 8 ounces. Now your neighbor goes out there with a gallon jug. What are they going to get out of the same lake? A gallon. Somebody goes out with one of those 5-gallon water bottles. What are they going to get? So what changed about the lake? Nothing. So what makes the difference? How much we get. Our vessel, which is our desire. So the Kabbalists say we should have the biggest desire. Biggest desire though, and what Kabbalah is teaching us, biggest desire for the light. The word Kabbalah means to receive. We're here to strengthen our desire to receive the light. Not temporary fulfillment, not instant gratification, not settling or not being satisfied with less than, but we should already have the biggest desire for it all. Because the beauty of this system is, you've all heard of love your neighbor as yourself, it's more blessed to give than to receive, etc. The only way our light will be revealed is when we're sharing it with other people. So then the greedier we are for our light means the more we will have the desire and take the actions to share with others. If you want your 100%, how much do you have to share in order to reveal? 100%. Simple. So you want it all, you got to share it all. It's just that simple. So when you drive down the street, how many of you are focused on getting where you need to go? But while you're focused on getting where you need to go, how many of you are thinking to share the light of your soul? To take and extend some of the light out to other people around you? Exactly. That's sharing it all. You drive down the street, is the light of your soul now blocked? Is it not there? You get in the car, the light of the soul stays at home? You go to work, does the light of the soul stay at home? Where does the light of your soul go? Everywhere you go. So then everywhere you go and everything you do, there's a ways and means to share that light. Stop being complacent, stop being satisfied, and stop settling. The great Kabbalists weren't. They didn't allow themselves to be limited. Do you know Moses? You know Moses? Our good friend Moses? I was trying to think. Moses Smith? No, okay. Right? Moses of the Bible. So if you read carefully, right, and for those of you who are new, the Kabbalists do believe in the Bible. We believe the Bible actually is a historical document. It tells facts and figures, but that's the very, very tip of the iceberg, so to speak. The real understanding is the Kabbalistic meaning. So you read in the story, God brings Moses to the burning bush, and he says, you know, Moses, I want you to go out, and I want you to free my people, go to Pharaoh, and that whole story. Well, what you don't read in the Bible is Moses argued with God for 7 days. So you think, wait a second. If God spoke to Moses and said, I want you to do this, why would Moses argue? I mean, we know Moses was one of the highest people ever, right? One of the greatest sages. Why would he argue? Because he's teaching us this lesson today. He never wanted to settle. He knew that the ultimate goal of coming into this physical world was peace on earth. For how long? Forever, right? Heaven on earth doesn't mean temporarily. It means forever. So the Creator basically, according to the Kabbalistic teaching, the Creator said, look, these people aren't ready yet for eternal heaven, but they're ready for part of that. And Moses said, well, then I don't want to be the channel of it. Find somebody else. For me, it's either all or nothing. It's final redemption or not at all. And it was an argument back and forth. So for us, it's that same lesson. We have to argue with ourselves. I don't want you to mistake what we're saying today. That means you got to tell everybody else. They got to give you everything, got to give you your way, etc. Because what's going to happen? Imagine 10 friends, and each of the 10 friends in that circle going to each other and say, you got to make me completely happy. I mean, what's going to happen? You look at your 9 friends and you say, you do X, Y, Z and I'll be completely happy. What are they going to say to you? And you say to the other 9, somewhere along the way, what we're going to ask for from our friends is contradictory. So the Kabbalists say it's not about manipulating the outside world. It's manipulating the inside world. Don't be satisfied with how good you are now. Don't be satisfied with how much you've shared up to this point. Again, appreciate, happy for, and I want more. Because the glass is not full until it's 100%. And the Creator gave us how much? 100%. And I want you to keep reminding yourself, how much did the Creator give you? 100%. So we're not going to settle. But that's what we tend to do. We've built walls and shells to settle. We allow other people to tell us what's the way it's going to be. So I have a student who was telling me a story. Woman, a friend of hers, hurt herself badly, shattered an arm, I think, or a leg. Right? Goes to the doctor, and the woman is a mature woman, if you get my drift. So what do the doctors say, according to medical perception? Well, we don't know if it's going to heal well, and we don't know if you're going to be able to walk, this, that, and the other thing. So what did her friend do? Her friend said, look, I have these strange little books. Wait, let me pull it out here. I have these strange little books in Aramaic. I want you to hold on to it, and I want you just to open it up and just look. Just look at the Aramaic words, because those Aramaic words are holy words that awaken the light of healing, the power of the Creator inside you. And guess what? She shifted her way of thinking. She stopped giving into, and I'm not telling you not to go to doctors, etc., but don't allow their limited thinking to limit you. Because you and I are learning here how to be unlimited. Because the Creator, you think the Creator, imagine a doctor says to God, God, I'm sorry, God, but I'm not sure this is going to heal or that's going to take place. Hello? What do you think God would say? Give me a second opinion. Oh, come on. I'm God. I have the power. Who do you think made the bone in the first place? Who do you think makes the bone heal? Karen Berg often says, when a person breaks a leg and the bone is split and they go to an orthopedist, does the orthopedist actually knit the bone together? No. What does the orthopedist do? Just puts the 2 bones next to each other, right? The 2 pieces. So then what heals the bone? The light of the Creator makes the bone knit together and heal. So who are we? We're the light of God incarnate, right? We are pieces of the light of the Creator. So when people tell us, oh, you can't have this, or this can't be, or that's not going to happen, etc., remember who we are. We are the light of the Creator. And if the Creator created the bone, then the bone could heal. And that's what happened. She started to change her consciousness, and the bone started to heal. And of course, the doctors use that very scientific term. It's a miracle, right? What does a miracle mean for a doctor? We can't explain it. We don't know how, but it happened. Think about that. Their wisdom is limited. And again, I'm not being disrespectful to doctors or scientists or whatever. I come from that background. But you and I have to realize their wisdom is limited. The Zohar is completely unlimited. Kabbalah is completely unlimited. So we don't want to allow ourselves to be limited by other people. We don't want to allow ourselves to be limited by what the world's saying. And we sure don't want to be limited by that negative thought in the left side of our brain. And I'm not saying the left brain, the spiritually left side, because that's where that negative voice is. And we build those shells and we start to believe. Like they say, if you're told 1,000 times that you're ugly and you're no good and you're stupid, what will you believe? You'll start to believe it. So we're telling ourselves here the opposite, because we're here revamping our thinking. We're here getting rid of all the limited thoughts, because we've allowed ourselves to build a prison. of all those limitations. I'm not good enough, so I have to settle for. I'll never be able to make it, so I settle for. I can't do this, so I'll be satisfied with what I have. No, settling and satisfaction, it's not the light of the Creator, and it's not part of us or our lives anymore from this day forward. We cannot let ourselves do that. I have a student who was telling me, she comes in the meeting, you could see it in her demeanor. So we have a little discussion, and guess what? Parents abandoned her, right? Previous relationships took advantage of her, etc. What did she come to believe about herself? Unlovable. Nobody could ever love her. Nobody could ever love her. And she's got all the evidence to prove it. Her parents abandoned her. What could be worse than that? Right? All these previous relationships, terrible relationships, they took advantage and then walked away, etc., etc. So why shouldn't she believe it? The evidence is she's unlovable, right? No, she comes here and what does she learn? What are we made up of? Pure light. So she starts to remind herself, I'm a pure and perfect being of light. I love myself. And I've told some of you various stories. I've had various students that I make them go out here in the hallway, stand in front of the mirror, look in the mirror and say, I love you. And you have no idea for some people how extremely difficult that is. So this woman was one of them. But I stood her out here. That's how she got started. Fortunately, she came back. She wasn't that upset at me because I didn't let her leave the meeting. I didn't let her leave the building until she faced the mirror. So then she started to repeat it again and again and again. Well, I'm here to report that she's now happily married. She found the right person. It's very nice because she changed, not because she found the right guy. She changed. Remember, law of attraction. Like attracts like. As we change, the world around us will change. That's why it's not about manipulating everybody else to do our bidding. We have to manipulate ourselves to be more of our 100%. Then the universe will do our bidding and find us the right thing in the right time, in the right way, in the right mode. That's what we're talking about. So, when that opponent telling us we're less than, what are we going to say? No way. I'm more than I could ever imagine. My true supernal self beyond anything I could imagine. That's where we're going to go. Now, a couple steps to help us. One, what's the power in our soul? The light of the Creator. How powerful is that? I had a conversation in one of the advanced classes that I teach about the light. Because, like we said, the first verse of the most complicated teachings in Kabbalistic wisdom, the pure, simple light. But we tend to think everything's complex. So I was explaining, what do we think about nuclear power? Why are we scared of the button? It's destructive, right? Nuclear power, we saw in World War II what it could do. We see the testing, etc. So one crazy man with his finger on the button could do what? We're worried, we're in fear. What's more powerful, nuclear power or the infinite light of the Creator? Let's think about it. And who has the power? Who every day of their lives is wielding that power of the infinite light of the Creator? Point to yourself. I do. I wield the infinite power of the Creator. Those of you on Facebook, I know you don't think I can see you. I wield. You say it to yourself. I wield that power. So if I wield the power of the Creator, what can I not change? Again, not about them, but about me. Then anything, any of the lies, the false ideas that I've held, I can knock them off like darkness is gone by light. Turn on light, darkness disappears instantly. No fight, no fuss, no muss, it's just gone. So we've got to remind ourselves, I am a pure and perfect being of light. I am. Say it. I am a pure and perfect being of light. Remind yourself every day. Don't be embarrassed. Do you think your opponent is embarrassed? That voice in your head? No, he's got you off looking at everything and thinking how bad it is. Oh, there's a song remind you of that relationship that broke up. Right? Here's something that happened to remind you of the business and the boss and the other people, etc. He has no embarrassment to use things against us. We have to start using our tools against him. Because he's not out there. He's in here. Start changing. So one is, realize that you wield the infinite power of the Creator. The second thing is, one of the great Kabbalists in the last 200 years who founded the Kabbalah Center, Yehuda Ashlag, he wrote one simple thing, among others. Environment. is one of the only free will choices we have, our environment. So let's start looking around. What environment are we putting ourselves in? Do you hang out with a lot of people who are talking bad about the country, bad about the world, bad about other people? Are you around people who are allowing themselves to be limited? Oh, nobody can really be healthy, and look at all the diseases, and the economy's terrible, and the politicians are all rotten, and people are no good, and men are all terrible. Isn't it amazing how we could know maybe 100, 200, even let's say 1,000 people, and all of a sudden, all men or all women are no good. So you're around those kind of people because the environment you put yourself in is the environment you're going to be impacted by. So if you're putting yourself around a lot of people who are limited in any way, shape, or form, then that's where you're going to be. So we want to start changing our environment. Now, I'm not telling you just to throw away your friends or family. But remember, environment is more than a few minutes hanging out with them. So yes, you can hang out with some friends, or you can go into social events, or let's put it this way, anywhere we're going to go, there are going to be people who have limitation. But we're talking about the ones that we allow ourselves voluntarily to be around all the time. Are they talking about poverty? Are they talking about the diseases? Are they talking about trouble? Are they talking about other people in negative ways? Those are the people we want to change. Why? Because how great are we? And I don't remember where I heard it, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. We have to start showing the world how awesome we are. Start sharing your awesomeness with others. Change the environment the other way. Start setting up an awesome environment and start attracting people who also. That's why the Rav and Karen Berg set up Kabbalah centers, that we could be a community of people who are thinking in the same way, that are boosting each other to realize how awesome we are and sharing that awesomeness with other people. So let's start being more focused on how we're creating an environment of growth and seeing the big picture. I am a pure and perfect being of light, and you are also. So those are the kind of people I want to be around. People, like we're saying today, who aren't satisfied with less than 100% and who aren't settling for less than all the good the Creator set out for them. Those are the people that are going to, I'm inspire them, they'll inspire me. You'll inspire me, I'll inspire you. That's the way it works. Because which one of us is an island? You know that saying? No one. No one. How many of you have ever seen the World Wide Web? Seen it. Seen the World Wide Web. Have you ever seen it with your eyes? No. But how many of you don't believe it exists? Oh, we believe it exists. Then how many of you have seen the strings that go from my soul to everybody on earth, your soul to everyone on earth? So because we don't see it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. The Kabbalists and every great sage through history have said we're all one and we're on a spiritual internet. So let's realize that if we're glowing and showing and growing our awesomeness, our light beingness, then we're influencing every other human being on earth to do the same. And when everybody is a light being, where's the darkness going to have a space to exist? Where's the chaos going to have a space to exist? It won't. And yes, that may sound too good to be true, but that's what the Kabbalah Center has been doing for 100 years. Bringing that awesomeness and those miracles and that transformation to the planet. The next thing is, don't ever compare yourself with anybody else. Yeah, I can already hear you. You're already thinking, no, oh, but I already compare myself, this one, that thing, this. No, why can't you compare yourself to anyone else? Because God created each and every one of us unique. There's no two, even identical twins are not identical. There's always some difference. God created every one of us unique. And if we're all unique and we're all created from one God, then which one of us is dispensable? Which one of us doesn't count? So you ever heard of a guy named Einstein? Einstein, Albert Einstein. Do you know how horrible he was? Do you know how terrible he was? He didn't even understand mathematics and think until he was in high school. Right? Imagine you're in elementary school with Albert Einstein and he can't even do arithmetic. And now you're looking at him going, ah, you're such an idiot. And then whatever, 50 years later, who is it? Einstein. Einstein. Right? He didn't do math. Karen Berg, if you hear her story, Karen Berg, I truly believe, probably the most spiritual person on earth today. She had difficulty reading and writing till she was 12 years old. But now listen to her, and now see what she's doing around the world. King David. You know King David? First king of Israel. You know he was the runt of the litter? So imagine his brothers, 7 brothers, big strapping guys. Even his father, when the prophet Samuel came to crown the new king, all the prophet got was, it's from the house of Jesse. One of the sons of Jesse is going to be the next king. So he goes to the house of Jesse, and he goes to Jesse and says, you know what? God told me that one of your sons is going to be the next king, and I'm here to anoint them. So what does Jesse do? He brings out his 7 strapping sons, and each one, Samuel says, no, this is not the one, this is not the one, this is not the one, this is not the one. And what happened after 7? Jesse says, I don't know. I don't know what else. It's got to be one of them. And prophet Samuel says, are you sure you don't have another son? He said, no, I don't have it. Are you sure? Because God told me it's coming from your house. What can I tell you? He says, okay, we have another son, but like he's a shepherd. He's out in the field. He's a little runt. I mean, he can't be the one. And guess what? King David walked in and ta-da-da-da, you know, like those commercials. There he was, crowned King David. So don't allow yourself to be compared with anyone else. Because as we said, if you're satisfied right now with 40% of your potential, and you compare yourself to somebody who's 80% of their potential, what are you going to say to yourself? Of course I'm a nobody, I'm a nothing. But you're only at 40%. Just keep working till you get to your 100%. More and more and more. Don't compare with others, because then you'll never move. You'll never want to go forward. And then the last thing. We said it once, and I'll just remind you again. If you want it all, then the Kabbalistic law is, if you want all the blessings and all the good that the Creator put inside your soul as potential, then you have to share it all and make it manifest all the time, every way, every day, to every person. As you're shining your light 100%, don't worry about what those people will say or what they will do or how they will act. The light is protection against darkness and chaos. So if you're shining your light all the time, then you'll have light and blessing all the time. And I just want to finish with this story. So this woman knew, through her astrology, whatever it was, she knew she was going to die in childbirth. She never wanted to get pregnant because she didn't want to die. She didn't want to leave her husband. So she went to one of the great Kabbalists in the 17th century known as the Baal Shem Tov. And she went to this Kabbalist and told him the story. And he says, don't worry. He says, but at the moment you're giving birth, the cosmos is open. You can ask. Ask for what you want. So she gets pregnant, comes the time, she's in labor, she's about to give birth, the baby's starting to come out, and she looks up in the heavens and she asks to be able to see her baby weaned from her. Sure enough, about 3 years later, she dies. The Baal Shem Tov comes to the funeral, and he talks to the husband and he addresses the people. He says, think about it. When the cosmos was open and she could ask for anything, she asked only for 3 years. She could have asked for a lifetime. So today, the cosmos is open for you and I, because it's open every moment. Because every moment of the day, we're giving a new birth to ourselves, a new level of ourselves. So today's the day that we commit together to go for it all, to ask for the best, to be the best, and to share the best. God bless. Let's see if we can. Thank you. Let's see if we could see people on here. Okay. All right. So for those of you who are new, what we do now, and before we do our offering, I just want to share a couple more stories. I told you that one. But it is a free will offering. Your support helps us to do what we do, which is spreading the Zohar. But I want to tell you 2 more stories about the Zohar before we do our blessing. I'm teaching Kabbalah 2. So this is a woman who's only been 10 weeks in the center. And in the Kabbalah 1, we introduced the idea of scanning the power of the Aramaic letters, the Hebrew letters. And she was telling the class a story that 2 months ago, when she first started in the center, her daughter was diagnosed, found some lump. So, of course, she was a little concerned, a little frantic about her daughter, but she said, and she told the class, she was very peaceful because of what she's been learning. So she didn't get really frantic or upset or whatever, but she went out, she picked up one of these Zohars, she gave one to her daughter and one for her, and they were scanning every day for about 2 months. And she was telling us, which was only like 2 weeks ago, she said her daughter went for the last test, through all whatever testing they did, and she had nothing, a clear bill of health. So not only was she able to have a sense of peace, but she was also to change the destiny and the fate of her daughter. So we have another student who told me another story. 6-month-old baby whose heart was failing. Apparently it wasn't firing properly or whatever, so the doctors implanted a mechanical heart, right, to keep the baby alive. Well, the same thing. And it looks so simple, and this is the toughest thing for us to get across to people, that a book like this channels the infinite light of God. Because what does our opponent tell us? A book is a book, and we need to read it and understand it, right? So if we could put this book in the form of, I don't know, something else, some little crystal or something like that, maybe we'd believe it's mystical powers, right? But it's a book, and that's the way we work with it. So this woman, the mother was also scanning, friends were scanning to help this baby. All of a sudden, about a year, right, the heart started to work. So the doctors went in to do surgery because the heart was working so well. And apparently I was told this was the 3rd surgery of its kind since 1990. So they took the mechanical heart out of the baby. They took all the tubes out of the baby. And the baby is fine, is moving forward, has very little pain and discomfort, right, from the surgery, etc., and is now on its own. So that's just a few of the simple miracles that this can perform. So one, if you don't have one, get one. Keep it in your car, put it in your pocket, put it in your purse, keep it in your briefcase, give it to your kids in their backpack, anything. And then share with me the miracles that happen, like these stories, because they come every week. We could sit here for the next few hours and tell different stories, but that's not the point. The point is that you understand that the offering, the gifts that you share with the center is helping us to spread these all around the world, to create individual miracles and collective miracles. And that's why it is important that you understand what's going on, because like anything else, the more you support, the more you get return. What we cause in the world will come back to us. And that's why we'll take these few moments to bless the offering. And those of you who are on Facebook can join us and just go, I know there's a link put up so you can make your offering, also your donation to the center. So just hold your offering in your hands and let's just envision. Let's keep in our mind the miracles we would like to see. Unleash ourselves from the settling and being satisfied with anything less than the Creator has given us. Appreciating all that we have, all that we are, and injecting this light and love and blessing into our offering, that it will go out and touch every human being on earth through the spread of the Zohar and the wisdom of Kabbalah, that every human being will know their true godlike nature. They will overcome any limitations that they have, because we know the more unlimited they are, they impact us. The more unlimited that we are, we impact them. That together we are one unified soul of humanity. With our love and our gratitude, we give this gift and this offering to bring the infinite light of the Creator to bear on the world and all the blessings that it will return to us. And we open our eyes and we say, Amen. So let's wish everybody on Facebook a happy week. Okay, so now what we want to do, what you see in front of you is a support system to never settle and to never be satisfied with less than 100%, right? Never compromise. That is one of what's called the 72 names of God. We do every week. If you look to your left, you see all 72. They are function buttons for the soul. The Hebrew letters or the Aramaic letters channel the infinite light of the Creator. We have the light inside our soul. What we're doing in the meditation is bringing them together. All right, so we're activating the light inside of us just by looking at the shapes of the letters. From right to left, the names are Dalid, Nun, Yud. So just look at them. The shapes are unique, right? Like everything that forms in the physical world is formed from the spiritual. So each one of them is a form of unique aspect of the light of the Creator. The three together combine, and as we'll do in our meditation, to awaken the aspect of being uncompromising in our spiritual growth, in our spiritual determination. All right, so look at it, get a good vision of it. And then if I can ask you, close your eyes. Make yourself comfortable in your seat. Feet flat on the floor, hands on your lap. Just begin taking a few deep breaths. Breathe in through the nose, hold the breath for a moment, exhale through the mouth. Allow yourself to relax. Just envisioning yourself as a channel, a conduit of the light of the Creator. Relaxing into the light. Feeling yourselves metaphorically in the hands of God. Feel the warmth and the comfort that infinite power of the light brings you. It's a taste of what the Creator has set out for each and every one of us. And now let's envision the Dalid, Nun, Yud. Dalid, Nun, Yud. And let this energy of the light force that comes through this name reach directly inside your soul. Feel it awakening, a new part of your soul, a part that's been sleeping. And let it be awakened now. The strength, the commitment, the determination to go for your 100%, to stay on the path, to be happy with your progress, but never satisfied, to appreciate the breakthrough that you make, but never settle for less than 100%. Dalid Nun Yud, helping you to be happy and peaceful as you progress towards that 100%. Feel the light expanding in and around you. And in your mind's eye, send it out. Keep increasing it until it envelops every human being on earth. Every human being right now is being awakened to know there's a greater aspect of their soul that they can awaken and they can be blessed by. Dalid Nun Yud, to awaken in them that same determination to be more sharing, loving, kind, compassionate, generous, humble, tolerant. To be completely God-like. And we hold the vision of peace and harmony among all the people. Just etch that picture, that sense of peace and harmony in your heart and your soul right now, and in your mind's eye. And let's commit to keep it in our thoughts, our prayers, in our vision. So we can make it manifest now in our time. Taking one more deep breath, locking it in, and as you exhale, slowly opening your eyes.